You're not doing anything illegal. You're not doing anything weird. I want to stress that. I'm just saying that you ultimately have control over who has access to this page. If you're tired of the old cookie cutter marketing advice and want to take your personal brand to the next level with bold, actionable strategies that truly reflect you, you're in the right place. Let's untangle your marketing mayhem with Zoe, the video confidence coach, on the Unboring Your Brand podcast. Unboring Your Brand was recorded on Wadawurrung land. Imagine this. You're at a networking event, talking with friends and strangers alike. You come across someone who has a business card they hand over to you and it has a QR code. You say thank you, have a good, great conversation with this person, and then you head home. And then the next day, while you're in the office, you come across your pile of business cards that you were able to pick up from the networking event, and you come across that particular card with that QR code. It intrigues you. You scan it with your phone, and then you come to a web page that is almost like it's been made for you. It reminds you of the person you were talking about with a quick 30-second video that says, "Hi, it was great to see you at this event," and gives you the elevator pitch again, just to remind you of who they are and why you connected in the first place. Then the website page scrolls down to be able to show useful things that you were actually talking about, you were engaging with, and the call to actions that actually resonate with you and why you connected with this person in the first place. This idea and this webpage sticks in your head for months, to the point where you meet this person again. You see them at a networking event, you see them across the room, and you beeline for them. You approach them, you start talking, you have a chat, you almost like you have in-jokes with this person, because you were able to look at this webpage and almost get in-jokes as to how they speak and how they interact with customers and leads. You don't have to imagine this, because this had happened to me. And this consistently happens to me at networking events. Why? Because this is the tactic that I use when I'm at networking events. Everything that I've just described to you just then has not been, it's not that it's new. It's more that this is a story that I've heard again and again and again since I've enacted this about 6 months ago, I want to say, as of recording. We're currently in the middle of October 2024, and this tactic I have used since about April, May of this year. And essentially what it is that my business cards, which took me forever to design, by the way, because I'm a perfectionist, has a very large QR code that is fairly playful in the sense that it is a quick QR code, and it has the link vcc.training/meet-me. And essentially what this does is as I described in the story at the start of this episode, it links people to a networking central hub page on my website that's not publicly available. It just links people straight to this website. And what this does is it enables people who have my business card, or they have recorded my lanyard. So I have a little lanyard that I have around that has the QR code on there. And this enables to do a couple of things for me. It enables me to stick in their minds, because I'm able to show them something that they can use in their own networking and marketing. But also, it's a tactic that I've recommended to other clients in the past where networking is very important for them in their business. As you can probably imagine with the work that we do at the Video Confidence Coach, networking is quite important. And to be able to streamline not just the 7 points connection factor, and I'll get into that in a second, but it also helps me stick in the minds of people who are my target audience. People who come across my Meet Me page become entranced and enamored to the point where they're like, "Hey Zoe, can you make one of these for me? Are you able to implement this into my own marketing strategy?" People who get excited by this are my kind of people. So yes, Zoe, for those who are detractors, you might be saying, it's just a web page. I have those all over my website. But this is a specific web page that has only a few goals, or even one goal. One goal is to get people to connect with me on LinkedIn. Why? Because LinkedIn is where I update people on what I do, but also it is very, I don't want to say integral, but it's a very large part of my follow-up and my marketing efforts when it comes to social media. I do have appearances on Instagram, Facebook, Pinterest, and all those other places. But when it comes to my efforts and the work that I do, I always put LinkedIn first, because the people that want to work with me are going to be on LinkedIn. So in moments like that, I have this webpage that I update reasonably, I would say realistically every 2 months, where I update the video and I update a couple of the call to actions. And again, I will specify a little bit more specifically what is in those call to actions. But the plan is to make this not overwhelming for the person who has scanned the QR code. Now you're in their web pages, you're probably on their phone, on their LinkedIn, and essentially this central hub on my website enables me to have direct communication with the people who are interested in what I do. Because they wouldn't have scanned the QR code if they A, didn't trust me, because the QR code could have taken them anywhere, and B, like, if they are not interested in what I do, they would not scan the QR code. They would not care at all. And going back to what I mentioned before about the 7 touch points, this is a theory that moves around a little bit in scope. But essentially what it is that you need a minimum of 7 touch points to get someone to know, like, and trust you to purchase from you. And of course, as the world becomes more online, as things change dramatically and trust is lost when it comes to specific industries and work, you need more touch points. Touch points can include seeing your name and your face, seeing you at a networking event, seeing what you do and how you can help people, and them actually remembering that you exist to help fix their issue. And again, that is not an unexhaustive list. There is a very long list of touch points, and if you want to, feel free to Google about that. I probably have a couple of blog posts that I'm working on to talk more about touch points in the future. But these touch points, again, it's a very dubious theory, but it's enough to be able to streamline your focus and be able to make it clear to yourself, okay, what exactly is this tool used for, and how is it working for me? So again, this is a web page on your website that is not accessible via, say, Google or like on your menu on your web page. On your website. So this is for, again, it is a special little private page that people only access once they have that QR code. That QR code can be on flyers, on lanyards, on business cards, or again, you have control over where this QR code goes. I highly recommend putting this QR code on physical things that you have for your business. The reason being is that you can control who sees this page and ultimately the message that you have. And also it gives you that exclusivity of, you know, who has access to this page at the end of the day. Again, you're not doing anything illegal. You're not doing anything weird. I want to stress that. I'm just saying that you ultimately have control over who has access to this page. So the web page itself, as I've described, and I think you've got a little bit of the idea of what exactly this page would look like. This page needs to cover a couple of factors. It needs to be mobile friendly, because most, if not all, of the people who are going to be accessing this page are going to be accessing it via a QR code. How do people scan QR codes? Via mobiles. So the page needs to be mobile friendly first and foremost. It needs to be accessible. It needs to be very contrasted. It needs to have very clear bold headings and very clear text. And it needs to have very clear distinctions between buttons and the background. And again, some basic accessibility tools you can check out by a friend of the video confidence coach, LB Learning. And they have a bunch of useful stuff on their website. The page itself needs to be really easy to navigate because, again, it is on mobile and it has a really clear goal of reminding people who you are and why they should work with you. And it shouldn't be that complicated. I do not recommend a lot of text or a lot of testimonials or anything like that. And even if you are going to have some of those sections on this page, have them at the bottom, because if they're scrolling all the way to the bottom, they care. or at least they want to check you out. I do recommend having links to your social media platforms, though a maximum of 3, because again, you're trying to get people to take action once they have, scanned this page. And having your top 3 performing social media platforms are going to look better for you. And also, and again, enables to narrow people to the focus of what you ultimately want them to do. Having a very clear call to action for people to connect with you on LinkedIn, because again, LinkedIn, not necessarily it's just because it's my strategy and how I like it, but because it enables people to connect with you, not just the business and what you can do for them, but you as a human being, because they are more likely to remember a face and a person's name than they are to remember a business name. It's just facts. So if you can connect them on LinkedIn, go them on Shoo-In. And having a video at the top of the page is very useful, and a video that is 30 seconds long max. Essentially a video that says, hey, this is who I am, this is how we met, usually a networking event, to be honest, and give them a very clear, precise elevator pitch to remind them why they were talking to you. You can showcase your personality and how you've been able to interact, and maybe even having a little in-joke between you, maybe something that you end up talking to a lot of people about. Say, for example, one of the topics that I usually get talking about is Geelong ordinances. Things that are happening in Geelong, I have opinions about. That can be an in-joke between you and the people that you're talking with. Now, of course, that doesn't have to be location-based. It's something nice, again, something that people can remember you by. And again, these are people who are engaged with what you're saying because they've scanned the QR code. They are not seeing this if they are not interested in what you're doing. Good. So, curating connection with the people who are visiting this page, be it professionals or personal, whoever has gotten this QR code, is because they are actively wanting to engage with you. And if you make it easier for them to connect with you via this webpage, you can regularly update this webpage to reflect whatever your big goal for that quarter or that month is. You can update the page simply by changing a button. You can maybe update or maybe provide opportunities for people to provide their email address to get a lead magnet that you are either discussing or something that is really forefront in your mind. For example, hey, we're really talking about, not we, but like as a general thing, you talk a lot about customer avatars. Say, for example, that's a me thing. I usually like to put the customer first when it comes to marketing and building your entire marketing strategy with not having a clear idea who you're marketing to is a big red flag. So in that case, download my customer avatar worksheet and mini course that'll help you get really clear on who you want to work with. And once you've done that, feel free to reach out to me and I'll help you with the rest. Something like that. Really simple, straightforward prompts. And also reducing the amount of options that people can choose from will help reduce the overwhelm and fatigue that can sometimes happen when you're on a web page that you're unfamiliar with and there's just so many things to choose from that you get overwhelmed and you get kind of scared. So don't worry about that. So try your best to try and reduce the amount of options that people can choose from, because again, you are controlling who has access to this page, either via flyers, business cards, pamphlets. The reason, again, I'm recommending physical places or maybe even stickers is so that you have control over how people access you and access this particular page. I do recommend updating it at least once every 2 months because things will change. Your priorities in regards to what you're wanting people to sign up to your email list will change. And also, like, you may be able to, check in and say, maybe the video is a little outdated. I've changed my elevator pitch. I've changed who I'm targeting. Again, quickly record the video, be it when it's on mobile. I do recommend a vertical video, again, just because of the amount of effort and it enables you to take up more of the screen so people actually action what you're asking people to do. And you can do this quickly on your phone, quickly record a video. Hey, it was me. We met at a recent networking event. Again, you can be a little bit broad because you're going to be using this at multiple different locations and events and places, and then remind people of the elevator pitch. So, and updating that every 2 months just makes a bit of sense. Now, of course, I understand that this is another tool that is another thing to add to your plate. Zoe, you are making us do too much. You and every client that I work with. I always do too much. And then you see the results. You see people, as I mentioned at the story at the start of this podcast, people coming back to me, beelining me at events because they remember me, and they remember me so fondly, even though we only had a 2 to 3 minute conversation. Why? Because they saw the stuff that I did, and because it relates heavily to the personal branding and the work that I do, it makes sense. Now, of course, this, for example, this tool that I have outlined for you in today's podcast may not be the right thing for you right now, and that is okay. But you have this tool in your back of your mind whenever you are, say, for example, looking to invest more time into networking. Hey, maybe I should make a Meet Me page just to make my life easier. Or in the events that you are going to, say, a conference, and you can think, okay, I can update this, maybe create a page, slap on some QR stickers, and this will make it slightly easier to remember who I'm talking with. There are plenty of opportunities, and because I've given you a base foundation of what you could possibly do with this tool, you could do so much. It's sitting on your website. You can easily get more email connections. You can also enable like AI chat tools, or maybe even allow people to either give you a call or send you a message. Whatever means that translates into sales for you, you can put that on this page. You have opportunities galore because it's on your website and you have control over it. So thank you so much for listening and watching today's podcast if you are watching us on the YouTubes, and thank you so much for your time today. If you are interested in generating a Meet Me page on your own website, feel free to check out mine at vcc.training/meet-me. Or, and again, of course, it'll always update and always change, so it may not be exactly as I've described today because things will evolve and change. But if you're interested in me creating one for you because you don't have the time and energy, I can also do that for you. You just check us out at vcc.training/services. So much. Ugh. It's getting a bit hot out here. Thank you so much for enjoying today's podcast episode. Look forward to seeing you, and maybe seeing you at a networking event where I can give you a QR access to this webpage yourself. Bye. Thank you for listening or watching Unboring Your Brand. You can find detailed show notes with tools, offers, and episode transcriptions. Just click the first link in the description or go to vcc.training/podcast. Get involved and ask me anything about personal branding, video strategy, or just a friendly small business chat via my email, g'day@vcc.training. That is gday@vcc.training. The Video Confidence Coach would like to acknowledge and pay my respects to the Wadawurrung people of the Kulin Nation, the traditional custodians of the land on which I record my podcast. I pay my respects to their elders past and present. I stand with the traditional custodians of these lands in working towards a more equal future. Always was, always will be Aboriginal land. Look forward to me chatting at you next week, superstars.